time for Miss Spider's wedding. Yeah. Miss Spider's wedding. Good morning, miss. A lovely day. Miss Spider turned around to see Ike hanging by his knees, 3 inches from the ground. My good friend Holly, Ike went on, is someone you should know, but he's too timid to come down or even say hello. They heard a snap and then a crash and gasped as Holly tumbled. He plopped down at Miss Spider's feet, embarrassed, stunned, and rumpled. Miss Spider knelt to help him up. He blushed, too shy to speak. She bid demurely, "Oh, won't you come to tea one day this week?" And when she heard his little voice, it seemed to her somehow that she had known him always, though they'd never met till now. "Please pay attention when I speak, stop daydreaming," barked May. Miss Spider's thoughts were still upon the man she'd met that day. May nagged, "You should get on with life. I thought by now you'd be a wife." "But Miss Spider tried to say. "You mustn't interrupt," sniffled May. May jabbered on and on and on. Miss Spider, with her patience gone, surveyed the clock and tapped the floor, but when a face peeked round the door, she whispered, "I apologize, but May, I just now realized the gentleman who asked to call is waiting for me in the hall." "Come on," squeaked May. "Well, finally." She dashed right out so she could see, then screamed, "Get lost, you puny pest. She's waiting for her special guest." Miss Spider scurried toward the din. She took his hand and led him in. May gasped, "How can I stop her folly? She's desperate if she's dating Holly." They talked of all their dreams and hopes, of art and nature, love and fate. They peered through toy kaleidoscopes and murmured thoughts I shan't relate. Then Holly held Miss Spider's hand. "I'll say no more, you understand, for private moments between spiders should not be witnessed by outsiders." Back home, May snipped at Ike, her mate. "Miss Spider, come undone! That bed stop Holly is her date. Go fetch a better one. Be certain he's intelligent, strong, handsome, brave, and elegant. Just find any legged Mr. Right and bring him back here by tonight." Ike said, "But I think Holly is particularly nice. It's not just me who thinks so. You should go and ask the mice. They say he's helpful, wise, and kind, and always so polite. Perhaps he's just the one to be Miss Spider's Mr. Right." May gasped, "Oh, you've lost your senses too. That panty waste will never do. What difference if he's kind and wise? He isn't half Miss Spider's size. I see I'll have to go with you, for very clearly, Ike, you simply do not have a clue as to what we women like. This fellow here, for instance, is no proper type at all. He's drunk so much petunia wine he's hardly fit a crawl. His web is coarse and slovenly with clothes strewn all about. I couldn't have seen Miss Spider wed to that disgraceful lout. I'm certain even you can see these spiders will not suit. The green one is a crybaby, and the white one is a brute. Our gentleman could not endure the likes of either one, I'm sure. How could she hope to overcome their temperaments? So quarrelsome."
Now there's a really handsome hunk of Spider's specimen.
A bevy of admirers wait to fawn all over him. His web is tidy and well made, his shoes all in a row. The length of nose to eyebrow is the perfect ratio. May called, "Oh, Spider, so are you here? I got the perfect girl for you." Then whispered, "Now I'll set things right." "I hope," squeaked Ike. "He does not bite." "Please tell me of this lonely miss," the Spider strong man cooed. "Is she a beauty? Is she rich? And is she in the mood to be the charmed and wooed by dashing handsome me? But how could it be otherwise?" He laughed triumphantly. "Why don't you beetle darlings wait right here till I come back? I'll make for you a tasty little snack. You'll find it cozy on my web, the view is fine from here, so rest your tired abdomens until I reappear." Miss Spider later welcomed in the strange arachnid gentleman. His air was fine, his manner grand. He bowed and kissed her dainty hand. "I've journeyed here to a lady from the land of falling leaves. Please let me introduce myself. I'm called Spider's Reeves. Fair princess to that distant place float stories of your charm and grace, but none of them, I must confess, prepared me for your loveliness." He peered around the drawing room at all the finery. He coveted the furnishings, the carpets and settee. All this he thought would soon be mine if she and I were wed. He mused, "This house will suit me well." But this is what he said.
My darling, I can plainly see that you are everything to me. I long to know the soul within your lovely exoskeleton. Is it mere chance? No, it is fate that we shall soon cohabitate. 'Twas set down by a will divine that I am yours, and you are mine. My angel, let us not delay. The sly spider has fled. Tomorrow is the perfect day for you and I to wed.
Kind sir, you move too fast for me, Miss Spider cried protestingly. My love has already been spun and promised to another one.
You cannot mean, Spider as hell, that you're rejecting me. Tell me this loathsome rival's name, and I'll squash him like a flea.
His hot breath sprayed Miss Spider's face with all the force he had. He screamed,
You will reveal his name!
She said, I won't, you cad.
He turned his back and brayed, I must go find and grind him into dust. So foolish woman be forewarned, Spider as Reeve shall not be scorned.
At that same moment in the hall, poor Holly dwelling at the wall could dwell on, or poor Holly staring at the wall could dwell on one and just one thought. Does she love me? Does she not? His weary brain was occupied. He could not sleep, although he tried. His weary brain was occupied, envisioning her fine assets, her gentle curves, her spinnerets, those emerald eyes so deep, so green, like nothing he had ever seen, that sweet round face, that pointed nose, and lips to shame the red, red rose. He tossed and tumbled in his web, recalling every word she said, then paced the garden in the gloom as shadows swept across the moon.
I like that one right there.
Just then there was a little sound that didn't seem quite right. He cocked his head and heard two voices whimpering in fright. He rushed to find poor Ike and May and ripped their sticky bonds away, but turned when someone in midair roared,
Speck, what are you doing there?
I'm merely snipping a few strands, kind sir, because you see, you've caught this beetle couple in your web mistakenly. It's only luck that brings me here down from my web above. I'd be asleep but for the thought of dear Miss Spider's love.
And so it's you! Oh, not yet. Sorry. And so it's you, Spider's house, who dares to interfere. There's been just one mistake, my friend, but I shall fix it here. You freed those tasty beetles I was going to eat in bed. That's just too bad. For now I'm forced to eat you up instead.
Holly's life flashed before his eyes, peering up at that toothy jaw. As everything was growing dim, fading out, he thought he saw an angel swoop down in a gown of yellow flecked with black, who screamed, Let go of him, you brute! Then smacked the scoundrel's back. Who screamed, Let go of him, you brute! And then smacked the scoundrel's back. Smacked the scoundrel's back. And then they carried him back. Drifting back to consciousness, Holly sensed someone he knew. Yes, Miss Spider's lovely face came swimming into view. Darling, are you back with me? Spider Nurse begged hopefully. I've tried 100 different ways to wake you up for 3 whole days. He gazed upon her reverently, then wobbling to her side, looked up into her eyes and whispered, Will you be my bride? A blush of scarlet tinged her cheek. Her lips a quiver could not speak. He stroked her gently with his feet, and she murmured softly, Yes, my sweet. They sat together in the sun, and when the day was through, they'd made a list of all the most important things to do. The crickets would be asked to play the music on their wedding days. The field mice, woolly bears, and bees would cater on a bear to please. I'll bake the cake, Miss Spider said, and wait by silken veils. Then Holly peeped, I'll spin a suit with silk top hat and tails. We'll send an invitation out to every bug alive, with notices on every bush, treetop, hill, and hive. Can any have the slightest doubt, chirped Holly with a smile, the fairest creature in the world is walking down the aisle. To be my own beloved bride, my joy and comfort, hope and pride. I feel my life has just begun, for she and I will be as one. Don't see how handsome Holly looks, Miss Spider sings with glee. Of all the creatures in the world that used to be with me, we found the place where love abides, and share the warmth that it provides for all those who have found a way to savor life's most sweet bouquet. The butterflies swirl high above to view this scene of spider love and promise of eternal bliss as Holly and Miss Spider kiss. The banquet table's loaded high with treats like crispy aphid pie, grilled dandelions and bug-eyed peas, sweet pickled grapes, and mouse milk cheese. With crickets fiddling in full swing, the katydids began to sing. June beetles spin in pirouettes as click bugs clack like castanets. The drinks are served by honeybee. Petunia wine is flowing free. The guests are eager to give kisses to dear Miss Spider. Now a missus. The bride and groom at last withdrawn from all the chaos on the lawn, poise low upon a willow tree and hold each other tenderly. We see their forms in silhouette, their shapes are clear to us, and yet, how can we fully recognize that beauty seen their true loves?